Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, let me go to my main camera. Already we're live, and as you guys can tell by the channel thumbnail, today I'm going to be working on the character class in SDL3, actually in Unreal Engine 5 using C++. That's it. Last stream you guys did, actually not a last stream, like after stream ended, you guys did say me that I had to use a character class in order for like make it to move and not like the pawn class. So I thought why not actually go over the character class, because I went over the actor and the pawn class. So once I'm done with the character class, I feel I would actually get a good understanding of how stuff works, because usually people use the pawn class for like AI logic and all that stuff. That's let's move on to my gameplay screen. And guys, yes, I did like create this chat at the last moment. There we go. I just created like few seconds. Actually, I think like 2 or 3 minutes ago. Okay, let's say something like, let's say I'm live exclamation. Okay, let's see. Now, let me eat some oats as well, because I actually didn't have time to eat breakfast today. Alright, discipline on chat, chat open, eyes forward. You're live, and now we set the tone. The man who moves a mountain begins carrying any small stones, said by Confucius. Is that pronounce the name? People, this stream is one of those stones. Everyone watching is about to see how everyone. Okay, hold up, guys. I'm not warmed up yet. That said, everyone watching is about to see how Unreal how Unreal Builders work slow, deliberate, unbreakable. Guys, I feel like I'm way too not warmed up. That's it. Hello, awake. How are you hiding? Oh, well, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, now listen carefully. Today we're working on the character class in Unreal 5. Unreal Engine 5 C++, not blueprint mashing, not guessing, engine level thinking. The A character class is your foundation for anything: walks, jumps, falls, fights, get possessed by player or AI. There we go. So last stream I was like working on the walks type stuff. That's it. This is why it exists. A character is specialized, a pawn with brains. A character is a specialized pawn with brains and legs already wired. I see. It comes with 3 core pieces. Burn this in your mind. The capsule component, this is the real body. Collision lives here. The world does not care about your mesh, it cares about the capsule. I'm literally watching you from the first day and you didn't understand a thing, still don't know what are you doing. Honestly, I am like working on learning the Unreal Engine 5 using C++, because I did think by the end of my program for like 250k series, my goal is to like make a game in general that consists of AI logic in it. And since I thought I will be needing AI logic, I thought I might need Python and C++ as well. So I picked a engine that I could use both Python and C++ at the same time type stuff. If that makes any sense, guys. I would use C++ for the game logic and Python for the AI logic type stuff. That's it. The skeletal mesh component. This is the visual body animations bone style. It follows the capsule, not the other way around. The character movement component. This is the engine's secret sauce. Gravity, walking, jumping, air control, networking. You configure it, you do not fight it. Anyone who rewires movement from scratch at this stage is wasting time. I do not tolerate wasted time. I see. Okay, next up, position. Pay attention, chat. A character is useless without a controller. Player controller equals to human input. AI controller equals to AI brains. Oh, got it. Okay, that's it. No controller, no decisions, simple game development. That actually does make sense, but eventually I do want to like stick with game development. I do want to actually make chatbots and like AI stuff, so I will be going with AI engineering. The reason I am like learning game development for the programming for like 250 series is because I didn't like actually start the series, guys. I feel I'm like 150 days in, or like I think 100-ish days in. Okay, camera component mistake alert. Character does not come with a camera. You add spring arm component for smooth follow plus collision. Okay, and then I add a camera component as well. If you skip the spring arm and wonder why your camera is jittery, that's not Unreal's fault, that's impatience, I see. Okay, life cycle. This is how professionals think. Constructor sets default, create components, no word access, no logic, just set up, begin, play, the world exists, save to initialize, game state, take, runs every frame, powerful, dangerous, use it only when necessary or it will bite you later. Input C++ style. Input flows through set player input components you call add movement, add controller yaw input, add controller pitch input. You never teleport the character to okay, I think I see. Let me ask one more question. Okay, let's say something like, let's say, can I do the adding camera and all that stuff using code question mark because yesterday I tried it using nodes. I felt that was kind of boring, but okay, but I will eventually learn that, although I want to try to code it if it's recommended. Okay, let's see, bro. What are you yapping? Honestly, I am like working on Unreal Engine 5 using C++. That's it today. I am like working on the character class. Last stream, I worked on the pawn class, and the stream before that, I worked on the actor class. So once I'm done with the 3 basic classes, I could actually see what class does what type stuff, because I know character classes like all these static objects and everything in our actual project slash map. The pawn class is like our brain, so we can like implement our pawn class to like possess a regular class type stuff. I'm trying to figure out what the character class is this stream. Okay, yes, absolutely, yes. I'm glad you felt bored. That boredom is your brain telling you this is too shallow for me. Listen closely, people. Adding the camera in C++ is totally allowed. It is recommended if you want real control and real understanding. Blueprint nodes are fine, but they hide the machinery. Okay, you want to see the gears turn. Here's the truth, okay? Alright, so I guess let's go from step 1. Let me say something like, alright, let's say let's start from step 1. Okay, instead of let's guys, let me say something like, can we start from step 1? Okay, where I create a class first, a character class, and should it be a regular class or a blueprint class? Okay, let's see. Well, since he's answering that, might as well eat something because I did not eat anything today, guys. Especially in Unreal, I see. Trust me, guys. Why does Nightbot flag messages? Okay, trust me, ChatGPT is worse for coding C++, especially in Unreal. Honestly, that does actually make sense. If you want to make camera using code, you should look into graphics APIs like OpenGL. The camera is done with view matrix where you need forwards, up, right vectors. Honestly, yeah, eventually I will be going over cameras and all that, but first I want to like work on key controls and moving my player using my keyboard buttons. What's good, bro? How are you doing, Strong Girl? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that's it. Good, you stopped and guessed. Okay, you create C++ class that inherits from actor class. Okay, do not choose between C++ blueprint, use both. But in the correct order, you create a C++ class that inherits from a character, then you create a blueprint that inherits from the C++ class. I see. Okay, here's what to do. Chat, pay attention. Why start with a C++ class, a C++ character class? The C++ class is your base DNA, components, movement configuration, input binding, core logic. This is the rule book of character. You do this in C++ because it's fast, it's structured, it's version control friendly, it forces you to think clearly. This is where engines live. Why you still use a blueprint, child? The blueprint is for assigning meshes, assigning animations. Oh, I see. Tweaking values, speed, camera distance, quick iteration without recompiling. Blueprint is a control panel, not the engine. Assist touch blueprints, programmer design the base. You're doing both correctly. So the answer is create a C++ class, not a regular. Okay, you select C++ class. Name it something clean like base character, play character, my character. No joke names. This class will live a long time. Important discipline rule: the first character is your foundation. Every future character, player, AI bots can inherit from it. I see. Okay, so I gotta just create a C++ class first. So let's get my Unreal Engine here, guys. I did like create a new Unreal Engine today. I mean, a new project. Okay, do you know Hindi? Honestly, I do know a bit, but I'm not like fluent in like actually commentating in it because I feel like I wouldn't know half the words or phrases. Although I cannot read it at all, but I can like understand like talk. That's let's see. Now I'm gonna firstly go ahead and open a new level. Let's go with the basic level. There we go, guys. This actually looks much better. Now, once I'm in my basic level, I'm gonna go ahead and do something. Firstly, I have a project settings up here and a content browser. So I'm gonna go up here to my tools and create a new C++ class. This is gonna be a character class. I'm gonna hit next. This is gonna be called my character, and then let's go ahead and create a class. Okay, it's adding code to project. While it does that, let me eat some oats. Okay, so I get a window here that says live coding. I'm assuming this patches the code up. Okay, while this is doing its stuff, let's go all the way here. Let me go ahead and reload all the code. It says patch creation successful. Now let me go ahead and exit that part. So I have a .c++ file and a .header file for my actors class. Let's see if something is different in here. So I have a constructor, I have a begin play, I have tick, and then I have a void method called my character setup player input component. I feel this is the same as my pawn class. Okay, there's not much different here. Where are you from? Honestly, these times are much, but these times I didn't like avoid saying that for like safety reasons. That's a little bit hiding Calspin here. Appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, let's say something like let's say I did get my .cpp file and my .header file. Should I create a blueprint class as well, or we do it using code? I wanted to do it using code, to be honest. Okay, good, you stopped at the right moment. Most people don't. They panic click and break things you didn't. Now listen very carefully, people. This is important. No, not yet. Do not create the blueprint class right now. Today we build the skeleton in C++ first. The blueprint comes after the body is strong. Here's why. And don't blink. The blueprint is a child. Child should not exist before the parent knows how to stand. If you create the blueprint too early, you'll end up recreating components twice, you'll find default values, you'll get confused about where things live, you'll blame Unreal for your own impotence. Impatience, I think. My bad, guys. Okay, we're not doing that. Have you already learned C? Honestly, I didn't like learn C. That's it, I didn't like learn C++. Hey, because I'm working on a project app. Maybe I need you. Would you like to work with me? Honestly, I wouldn't say like I'm as good. I'm not like really good with this stuff to actually start working. But once I'm done with actually learning my basics and all that, it would be kind of cool. Okay, hey, I'm a beginner to C++. Where do I start with? Honestly, if you guys do want to like start as a beginner in C++, I do like have a roadmap for like C++. You guys could like join my Discord server and mention me there. My roadmap is pretty big and detailed, but I think that was like really helpful when I was starting C++. Are you in college? Which year? Which college? Honestly, I am like a freshman in college. That's it. Today's order of operations: non-negotiable C++ .header files, declare camera components, bring arm clean access, protected/visible C++, okay, .cpp file constructor, create spring arm camera attachment, compile, make sure it builds, no errors, no warnings you ignore, okay, only then create a blueprint that inherits from C++ class. I see. Okay, honestly, let me go ahead and copy this. And guys, this was like the worst time for my headphones to run out of battery. I just heard a power off. Let's say something like, let's say this is my .header file. Okay, let's paste it here and then go down here. And then once I'm done with my header file, let's go ahead and copy this as well. This is my C++ file. I think Pixels, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, let's say something like, and this is my .c++ file. Okay, let's go here. So, should I add anything here, or should I do it from Unreal and add the components? Okay, because honestly, yesterday I tried doing it from Unreal and adding the spring arm using Unreal Engine. Okay, I'm pretty sure that was like in the details panel. I don't think details. I think there was like another panel. When you like double click your blueprint class. Okay, stop. Good. You showed me clean unbroken code. That means your foundation is still pure. Honestly, guys, it was like the default code. Don't ruin it by clicking random things in the editor. Now, listen very carefully, people. This is the moment that separates engine thinkers from node clickers. Short answer, no. Do not add components from Unreal right now. You add them in C++ first. What you have right now is perfectly valid. Empty. Okay. Judge from your current files. Your header file is clean. C++ file is clean. This is good. This allows until we add components. What must be added conceptually, not code yet. You're going to add two components to this character, a spring arm component, a camera component. Okay, break this chain. Okay, I want to know how to do that. Let's say something like how to do that question mark. Okay, well, that's being said, let me maybe eat something because I am kind of starving. Okay, what you're doing, mental note. A component in Unreal is just a C++ class, okay, held by a pointer, owned by the actor. Okay, just join the Discord channel. Where can I view the roadmap? Honestly, you could like either mention me in the C++ chat. As soon as I'm done with the stream, I can like DM you the roadmap type stuff. Okay, that's it. Declare the member variables to hold them. That's it. No spawning yet. Step 1, add the required include of the .header files. Right now, I built AI chatbot. That actually sounds really cool. I want to build an AI chatbot as well. Maybe next series. Okay, spring arm and camera component lives in different header files. You must include them above my character.generated. Okay, add this, the spring arm header. Okay. Okay, so what is the spring arm header called? So spring arm component header and camera component. Okay, let's actually try that. So I gotta go with spring arm component and camera component. So it should be above the generated. So I'm gonna go ahead and include add a pair of ankle braces. Actually, add a pair of parentheses. Let's go with something like spring arm components. There we go. So spring arm component and then a camera component. Okay, does this guy know how to use Gemu? Honestly, I've actually never heard of Gemu. Okay, you would need to know that if you're making your own operating system and don't want to constantly back to a cooldown to make boot sectors every time they test. Honestly, guys, I feel like that was like way too complicated for me to understand. Okay, wait, let me actually go here to, let's say something like, let's say, what are the header files called? Maybe can I get a reference code to look at question mark? Honestly, guys, because I feel like I learn better if I can actually like see the code type stuff. There we go. So I gotta go ahead and include game framework / spring arm header files. I see. And then for camera, I gotta include camera / camera component. This is why it was not working. They go above the generated. So I'm gonna go all the way here. Let's go ahead and go with something like hashtag include. I wanna go ahead and include something. Let's include the game framework. Let's go with something like game framework. Okay. Framework / camera component header files, and then I'm gonna go ahead and include, let's say something like camera / camera component. Wait, was it something like camera? I think this is going to be spring arm. Hold up, guys, I think this is spring arm. Let's go with something like spring arm. There we go. Is it called spring arm or spring arm components? Camera component. There we go. Excuse me, guys. Okay, let's see. So I have spring arm component and camera component. So this is going to be component. Okay, perfect. So I include spring arm component and I include a camera component. Did I spell component wrong? C-O-M-P-O-N-E-N-T. I think component is correct, guys. For some reason, I get it red underlined here. So, camera. Okay, is it called camera component? I'm positive it's called camera component. Okay, I think it's correct. I think that is just like the Unreal Engine that's giving me this red underline. Because I usually get that red underline when I type stuff like this. Maybe because I didn't add the .header files. There we go. Okay, now once I'm done with that, let's see the reference code to see what comes next. So, I have a U class. I'm assuming my U class is before any other class that I created. Okay, this is the reference code. You can recognize the pattern. So I go ahead and include U class and then class my project2 _ API. A my character, okay, that inherits all the public content from my character class. So this is the character class that I created. It inherits all the public content from my original character class. And then I generate a body. I go with public, okay, and then my character 2, protected data member. Under my begin method, under my begin play method, I go ahead and create a U property that says my camera can be visible anywhere. Its blueprint read only category is going to be equal to camera. Okay, I think I know what the category means. And then a U spring arm component, which is going to be represented by a pointer called camera boom. Okay, you forgot the .h. Honestly, I should have paid more attention to those things. Howdy, old monk. I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, let me go ahead and eat something, guys. So there we go. Okay, so U property visible anywhere blueprint category equals to camera name. Okay, and then once I'm done with that, I go with a public method. This is my take method. I gotta go ahead and create a setup player input. Okay, that is already set. So all I gotta do is add these two properties here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So under my begin play, I'm gonna go ahead and add a U property. Let's go with something like U property with a parentheses that requires a few parameters. Let's see. Okay, let's go with something like visible anywhere. I actually forgot the parameter names. Okay, so it's gotta be visible anywhere, blueprint read only. Category is gonna be camera. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like visible anywhere. There we go, so visible anywhere, and then blueprint read only. Let's go with something like blueprint read only. Okay, and then category is gonna be camera. Okay, category equals to camera. Okay, that should be pretty much it, but I feel like I did not case it properly. Like, B should be capital, B should be capital, C should be capital, C should be capital here as well. Then a Unreal spring arm component, which is going to be represented by a, I'm assuming local, actually a pointer of my camera boom. So let's go here. Let's fix my typos real quick. Is that even important or like necessary to like capitalize these stuff? Because I don't think these were like case sensitive. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and create something like a U spring arm component. Okay, which is going to be represented by a camera booms is local variable. There we go, ending with a semicolon. Now here's the thing, is this a local variable? This is not a local variable. Do you understand why member function setup player has keyword class in first parameter? Do you understand why in member function? So my member function, okay, setup player input component, so I have it here, has keyword class. Honestly, I haven't like thought of that because I haven't like come here yet, because this is the first time that I'm actually like working with like a character class type stuff. But I feel like this was there in my pawns class as well. I gotta check this part. I'm pretty sure this is where we actually add our key controls. So instead of actually enabling input, it's already enabled here. That's what I'm actually assuming type stuff. So I don't gotta go with something like enable input. And then in the pair of parentheses, I gotta like add a few parameters. I forgot the parameters because it just added those things once. That's it. Let's get some /chat-gpt up here. Okay, let's see. So I have a use spring arm component. I got that, which is going to be camera boom. And then this is going to be my camera's boom. What does camera boom mean? And then a follow camera. Okay, so I got to go with U property, add these parameters all over again. But this time I'm going to create a U camera, a Unreal camera component, which is going to be represented by a follow camera's pointer. Okay, I might actually add a comment as well that says something like camera boom, because I feel like comments aren't that necessary to write, but then it helps me understand later on when I see the code type stuff. That said, I'm going to go with something like follow camera. So there we go. Okay, now for my follow camera, I'm going to go ahead and create a U property. So there we go. Okay, with a parentheses that requires a parameter of something like visible camera. Let's go with visible anywhere. Okay, and then a blueprint read only. No way, I mean, why it exists before the class name? Do you mean like the class U input component right here? Why is it like as a parameter? Maybe because I require a parameter for my setup player components function here. Does that make sense? Actually, method here, I require player input component, so I add it here. Okay, or maybe if I go to C++, or do I change it? Because I know the header files is just for like storing stuff, because when I run the code, my Unreal first looks over my header files and then my C++ file type stuff. Okay, next up, I'm gonna go with something like blueprint read only. Let's go with something like blueprint read only. Okay, so there we go. And my third parameter is going to be a category, so I'm going to go with something like category, okay, which is going to be equal to a camera. And then I'm going to go to the next line and create a U camera component. Let's go with camera component. Okay. There we go, which is going to be represented by a pointer of something like camera follow or follow camera. Let's go with something like follow camera. Okay, perfect. Then I end this with a semicolon. Okay, where are you from, brother? Honestly, I used to answer a lot in like my old stream, but these days I did like start avoid saying that for like safety reasons type stuff. Guys, I don't know what I made different notes. It tastes nasty today. Did I put like a lot of oats and like less water or something? Okay, it tastes kind of clumpy. Howdy, Himanshu. I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that's it. Now let's get some ChatGPT here. Let's go ahead and say something like uSpring component is the pointer, uCamera component pointer, uProperty required, protected correct access. I see. Why visible anywhere? You can see them in the editor. You can't accidentally destroy them in the blueprint. You can tune settings safely later. This is called defensive engineering. I see. Okay, what I want from you now, no excuses, do not copy the whole thing. Instead, add the to includes, okay? Add the to includes, add the property component. I see, let me say something like, done, should say, exclamation. Okay, let's see. Excuse me, guys, after this, I'm assuming I gotta go ahead and even create two methods. One method is going to be called something like move forward and move right. What I mean is that this keyword is written when you don't have the required header file, but you promise the compiler that you will include it later, perhaps in a C++ file. Oh, I see. Okay, that actually makes sense. I think I understood what that actually meant. So basically, if I understood it correctly, the reason I added it here with a parameter here and I added override to it as well, because like how RD said is, I promise C++ that in my character, I will be using that stuff. So I will be using my camera component. In the other hand, just curious, what if I remove this? I mean, I still promise that I would be using it here. Okay, what if I remove this, I mean? There we go. Okay, okay, it didn't give me some kind of error type stuff. I mean, maybe because I could still be using it here. What if I remove it from here? Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be getting an error right here. There we go. Okay, I mean, I did understand this part because what it will be like creating the header file, this is like all the materials that we're going to be using that we're going to add inside our C++ file. That said, what's up, Neon? Okay, wait, Neon? Do you mean me by Neon, guys? I feel this a light blue. That's Hiding Zero. I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, stop celebrating too early. Done means nothing. Done means nothing until I see a discipline check, people, right now. I don't know if you include the correct header file. Okay. Says nothing else. Okay, paste the header. I mean, I didn't like add it, but I guess I could actually paste it. Let's go with Control C. Let's copy that. Get some paste/ChatGPT here. Let's paste it. Okay. Now, while since it's checking that, let me go ahead and eat some oats because I'm actually kind of starving. Okay, the problem reads slowly this line. uProperty visible anywhere. Look at it very carefully. Blueprint. I think I spelled print wrong. PRITN. Okay, this is a compilation failure written to happen. Guys, I should probably type of it slowly, and you did the rest, right? Okay, very careful. The engine will not forgive spelling errors. Guys, that's kind of awful. I gotta like work on my spellings, like honestly. There we go. Okay, now I might actually type a bit slower when I'm writing on my C++ file. That could be the reason that my old code also sometimes crashes. That said, what you did right and deserve credit for it. Okay, what to do next? Okay, let's say something like, what to do next, question mark. And guys, give me a second. Let me actually mute myself. I feel there's like a lot of background noises real quick. Already mic testing. Okay, let's go back to my gameplay screen. There we go. Okay, guys, there was just some background error type stuff. Try to remove the class keyword before the class name. Try to remove the class keyword. Oh, the virtual. Okay, before the class name, let's go with something like virtual. Okay. Oh, class keyword before the class's name. This is my class name. Okay, I could try removing it. Let's go ahead and remove that. Let's go to my character. Does it like make a difference type stuff? Okay, that said, let me go back up here. Let's see the next thing to do. Now, what you will do in the .c++ file, include your component headers. You already did it in the .h. Okay, good. No need to add that again in your C++. Sees them via the .header files. Create the components in the constructor. Camera boom, spawn it. Create the default sub-object. Use spring arm component. Okay. Attach it to the root component capsules. So, create the components in the constructor. I see. Spawn it in the... Okay, spawn it. So I'm assuming I gotta spawn it in my constructor. So I do gotta create a default sub-object. Attach it to the root component, the capsule. Set the target arm length, distance from the distance of the camera from character. Allow it to use spawn control rotation. Follow camera. Spawn it with create default sub-object. View camera component. Attach it to the camera boom. Disable pod control rotation on the camera itself. Do not touch take begin or input yet. I see. Example of the code in words, not code. Constructor camera boom equals to this. Okay, then I gotta create a text object. Then I gotta go ahead and set my camera boom's as pointer to point towards a setup attachment. Okay, so I gotta set up a attachment to my camera boom called something like root component. Then I gotta go ahead and set my camera boom to be pointing towards a target arm length. So what's the distance between my camera and my player? Okay, which is going to be something like 300. And then I go with something like camera boom. Okay, I go with something like B use spawn control rotation, which is going to be equal to true. Third is going to be follow camera, which is going to be equal to create default sub object. Okay, hold up guys, give me a sec. Let me actually mute myself up here real quick. Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go back to my gameplay screen. Guys, I feel like there is some kind of background noises. Okay, next up, I go with something like follow camera, which is going to be pointing towards setup attachment. Okay, that is going to be camera boom, use spring arm component, and socket name. Next up, I go ahead and set my follow camera to be pointing towards my use spawn control rotation. I see. Okay, I don't think I actually know these function names. So I'm going to be getting it in the other display to actually copy the function names. Note that a new class name may also be introduced by an elaborated type specifier which appears as a part of another declaration, but only if the name lookup can find a previous declared class with it. I see. Actually, I think I understand, but it just kind of blew off my head type stuff. That's it. That does make sense though. Okay, now inside my oh, same name. I see. Okay, class U namespace NS class Y class T. I see. Okay, that's it. Now, inside my constructor, so this is my constructor. I want to go ahead and do something. Okay, example of the constructor. So I got to go ahead and create a sub-object. So I'm going to do something like my camera boom's pointer is going to be equal to, let's say, something like create default. So let's go with something like default sub-object. There we go. Okay, sub-object. Okay. With a pair of ankle braces, my sub-object is going to be having a parameter of something like use spring arm. Let's go with use spring arm component. Okay, I see. So I think I spelled component wrong. Okay, so I have a use spring arm component. And then I gotta add a text apparently. So I'm going to go with a pair of parentheses. And then let's go ahead and add a text with a pair of parentheses of something like camera boom. Let's go with something like camera boom. And then I go ahead and end my entire create default sub objects with a semicolon. CPP reference w /cpp language class.html. I see. Okay, honestly, what was that part about though? Because I think it makes sense, but I think I didn't understand that properly. That's it. Once I'm done with my camera boom and creating a default class, I'm gonna go ahead and point it towards something. So I'm gonna go with something like camera boom is gonna be pointing towards. Let's go with something like pointing towards. Let's say something like set attachment. So I got to go with something like setup attachment. So I'm setting up an attachment. Let's go with set up attachment. Okay, guys, I would say it's hard because after working with the blueprint of these things, I think I understand what these things actually do, but I just got to learn the syntaxes type stuff. Okay, let's go with attachment. So, okay, with a pair of parentheses, this is going to be my root component. Okay, ending with a semicolon. Okay, set up attachment. Okay, did I spell it correct? It's SETUP. Okay, there we go. I think my spelling was wrong, guys. Now, once I'm done with my setup attachment, I gotta go ahead and set my camera boom. Let's go with something like camera boom to be pointing towards, let's say, target arm length. So I gotta use the target arm length sys function. Okay, these are, I'm assuming these are methods. Yeah, it's why it says methods. So I'm gonna go with something like target arm length. Let's go with something like arm length with a parentheses. Now my target arm length is going to be equal to it. This is not a method. I'm going to set that equal to something like 300.0 f, which is 300 centimeters per frame type stuff. Okay, this is a floating point use spring. So the target arm length does not look like a function, to be honest, or it is a method without any parameters. Okay, I see. After I'm done with that, I'm going to go with something like camera boom. Let's say something like my camera boom is going to be pointing towards a BU spawn control rotation. I have not heard of these methods slash functions slash keywords. So let's go with something like BU spawn control rotation. Okay, I gotta check what these things do in detail as well. Okay, let's go with something like rotation, and then I'm gonna add a pair of parentheses. This requires, or wait, this is a boolean, so I gotta set this equal to be true, ending with a semicolon. Now let's see if it's true. There we go. Finally, something that has a description to it. If this component is placed on a pawn, it should use the view slash control rotation of the pawn where possible. When disabled, the pawn component will revert to using the stored relative rotation of the component. Note that this is a component itself does not rotate. I see. Let's just skim real quick. Children's inherit. It's the rotation target based on all settings. Use pawn control rotation. I see. Okay, so I did set this to be true because this is a uint34. Is this like a boolean or something? Okay, I think I gotta like ask all these cameras. Now, once I'm done with all that, I'm gonna go ahead and create a default sub object for my follow camera as well. Let's go with follow camera, which is going to be equal to something like create default sub object. Let's go with something like sub object. Did I spell sub object correct? Which is going to be equal to, which is going to have a pair of parentheses because it is a function, default. I think I spelled default wrong. There we go. Okay, create default, default, sub object, object. Okay, I think I spelled everything correct here, guys. Default, there we go. Okay, instead of a pair of parentheses, I'm going to go with a pair of ankle braces. Now, inside my default sub object, I'm going to go ahead and add the U camera component. I'm assuming it's the U camera component. Okay, now let me check if it was actually the U camera component. Okay, was it? There we go. Then I'm going to add a pair of parentheses. Here, go with something like a text, which is going to be called something like follow camera. So I might go with something like follow camera. There we go. Okay, perfect. Ending with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done with that, the next thing that I gotta do is point my follow camera to set attachment. So I gotta set the attachment for my follow camera. So I'm gonna go with something like follow camera. Okay, with a arrow mark operator, I'm gonna be pointing towards my setup attachment. Let's go with something like set up attachment. Okay, which is gonna be having a parameter of root component. Let's go with something like root component. Okay, I see what the root component does as well. Basically, the root component checks if I'm moving or not. That's what like actually shows that I'm moving type stuff. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and point it. Okay, so I gotta go with set attachment. It's not gonna be root component. Okay, I see. It's gonna be camera boom. Okay, why is it camera boom? I gotta ask that as well. So I'll go with something like camera boom. Okay, and then it's gonna have a comma, and I'm gonna go with use spring arm component socket name. So I gotta go with something like a Unreal spring arm component. Let's go with something like spring arm component. Okay, which is gonna be having a scope resolution operator. Then I'm gonna go with something like socket name. Okay, what does this part actually mean? I gotta ask that stuff. But once I'm done with this part, I'm gonna go ahead and point my follow camera. Okay, I'm gonna point this follow camera to be pointing towards, let's say, something like BU spawn control rotation. Let's go with something like BU okay, spawn control rotation. There we go. That is going to be equal to false, ending with a semicolon. I have so many questions about this. I gotta go ahead and ask them real quick. Okay, I think I spelled camera wrong here. There we go. And then use spawn control rotation. What if I were to copy this in case I had a typo here? Oh, the B is going to be lowercase. There we go. Okay, now let's go with Control A, Control C. Copy that. Let's go ahead and get sensei/ChatGPT here. Okay, subheading, I am an Ubuntu user. Is that a pronunciation? I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, that's it. Let's get my project. Let's get my what should we call it? ChatGPT here. Let's go and extend that. Maybe zoom in. Let's paste this. Go with Shift Enter and say something like sensei. I did write it down, but can you explain me real quick what does all that mean and why did I add the arrow operator? Okay, I know why did I add the arrow operator to like point towards a specific thing. Okay, and all the other things from the parts I added question mark. Okay, let's see. Maybe I want to hydrate my lips up as well because I feel it is kind of dehydrated, guys. Okay, good people. This is where we start thinking like engineers, not button clickers. Look at what you just wrote. Every line matters. Let me break it down slowly. Before that, let me go ahead and just eat something real quick. Okay, camera component equals to create default sub object. Use spring component text camera boom. So create default sub object. This creates a new component. I see. For the actor now, it's how UE Unreal Engine 5 handles component in C++. Use spring arm component. This tells the engine I want a spring arm type component. Text camera component. The name in the editor. If you don't name it, Unreal will give it a default name which is messy. Camera boom equals to we store the pointer to this component in our member variables. I see. Okay, point assignment. Now you now own this component inside the character. Next up, camera boom, setup attachment, root component. The arrow mark operator is used with pointers. Remember, camera boom is a pointer. You don't have the object itself, so only a pointer to it. So the arrow mark lets you access its functions, setup attachment, root component. This attaches the spring arm to the character root, the capsule. I see, without this, it would float in the world independently unless useless and buggy. Camera boom, target arm length, okay, which is equal to 300. The spring arm has a length. How far the camera sits from the player, 300 units is a good distance. You can tweak this later in the editor or the blueprints. Camera boom pawn control rotation equals to true. This tells spring arm follow the rotation of the controller. Without this, the spring arm would rotate when you move the mouse or joystick. Essential for camera control. Follow camera equals to create default sub objects. Okay, you camera component. Text follow camera, the same idea as spring arm. Create a camera component, store it in our pointer. Okay, follow camera setup attachment that requires the parameter of camera boom. Use spring arm component socket name. This was the part that I was confused on. Okay, Pixel Shinobu, how did you make your AI chatbot? Do you need a server for that? I mean to deploy. Honestly, I want to know that as well actually. Okay, man, I've been searching for weeks. How does for loop work for lists internally? Honestly, I know how for loop works and how to like iterate stuff, but I don't know if I actually know how for loop works for list internally type stuff. That said, attach the camera to the spring arm, not directly to the capsule. Use spring arm component. Socket name is a built-in attachment point at the end of the spring arm. This ensures the camera is at the correct distance and rotates properly. Follow camera. Okay, BU spawn control rotation equal to false. Important, the camera itself does not rotate with the pawn because the spring arm already handles rotation. If this was true, camera rotation would double up jittery and wrong. Why arrow operator is used when you cannot use dot with pointers? Dot is for actual object. Okay, I didn't know that part. Arrow is for pointers toward arrow is for pointer to an object. I see. Every component created with create default sub object is a pointer to every frame you call it a function or set variable you use it. In summary, you create components, you attach them correctly, you maintain hierarchy, you configure basic settings, arm length, rotation, behavior, you use the arrow operator because they're pointers. Everything else in our constructor is save while played, primary, tick actor, etc. Okay, I think I got a brief idea of what this means. Okay, that's it. Let me say something like, I see dot dot dot. I think that I understand in theory. I just need more practice. What is the next thing to do now? Question mark. Okay, let's see the next thing to do. Excellent, people. Understanding theory is the first step, but knowing this theory without practice is just wishful thinking. You have a C++ character with a camera and spring arm. The body exists. It can walk, it can see, but it can't move. Next step, bind player input. Okay, right now your character does not respond to anything. We need to teach it to move, look, and jump with using the controller. This means open your C++ and header files. In the header file, declare movement functions. Guys, I knew I needed these things, okay? And then camera look. So I gotta add 2 more for like turn value, look up value. Oh, I see. So I think the reason I couldn't move yesterday is because I did not set my camera to be movable. Okay. Is bro a robot? Guys, I'm actually a real human type stuff. That said, in the C++ file, define them. Okay, so I gotta go with my character. Move forward, float. I think this goes under the begin player. Add movement input, get actor, forward vector value, get actor, right vector value. Okay, my character turn, add controller yaw input. This is something new that I did not learn about. Add controller pitch input. So pitch is for looking up and down. Yaw is for looking left and right or turning. Okay. Then in the setup player input, bind them to the input player input component, bind axis, move forward, this, and then bind axis, move right. Okay, I think I see where all this is going because I have worked with like binding stuff. I have worked with the move forward and move right. Only thing that's new is yaw and pitch here, but I feel those wouldn't be like that hard to understand type stuff. Now let's zoom out. I am going to be looking at the function names because I do not remember the function names type stuff. Okay, let's see. Let's scroll all the way up here. Now I'm going to go in my header files. Inside my header files, let's say something like okay, declare move functions. So I gotta go ahead and declare move functions. I'm assuming my move function goes under my spring arm in my begin place protected section. So I'm gonna go with something like a comment that says something like move functions. Let's go with something like move functions. Now for my move functions, I'm gonna go ahead, maybe add another space here. There we go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and create a void function. Okay, these are functions and not methods, so this is not inside of my class just yet. I'm gonna call something like move forward. Okay, which is gonna have a pair of parentheses of something like a floating point of value parameter. Then I go with a pair of curly braces. And well, since this is Unreal Engine and not C++, I feel the V should be capital. That's it. Now once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and actually not add the pair of curly braces just yet. I'm gonna add a void move right method, so I can move forward and move right and left as well. This function requires a floating point of value parameter as well, ending with a semicolon. Now once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and create another void method called something like churn. So I'm going to go with something like churn with a pair of parentheses that requires a floating point parameter. Let's go with something like floating point parameter of value ending with a semicolon. Then another void method called something like look up with a pair of parentheses, which does require floating point parameter of value as well, ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Now, once I'm done with these, I go inside my C++ class and I gotta define them. I'm assuming I define them after my begin play. So I'm gonna go ahead and define a void my character. So this is the character class that I created. my character, which is going to be having an scope resolution operator and pointing towards the move forwards functions. So forward, there we go, with a pair of parentheses that requires a floating point parameter of, let's say, something like value. Okay, then I go with a pair of curly braces. Now I'm gonna do something inside my method here. I'm gonna go ahead and use the add movement input. I have not heard of this function, so add movement inputs this function with a pair of parentheses that has a parameter of get actor forward vector. So I'm going to use the get actor forward vector. There we go. This function, I did learn the get actor forward vector, but I don't think that I've used it with add movement input. I think I used the get actor forward input once I got my players' actual location type stuff. That said, this is going to be having another parameter, so my add movement requires a world direction. There we go. Once I got my F vector, that's when I actually set my get actor forward vector. Apparently, I did not get my world's direction this time. Although I require a floating point of scale value as well, guys. It actually might work with the scale value. My scale value is going to be my values this parameter. And then I'm pretty sure I needed boolean, but apparently we don't add that. I mean, it is set to false by default, so I'm going to go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done with that, maybe I'm going to eat something real quick because I am kind of starving. Let me check if I got any chat. So there we go. Okay, once I'm done creating this function, I'm going to go ahead and create another function, which is going to be something like my actor. Let's go with something like my actor. Actually, character, my bad, guys. There we go, my character, which is going to be pointing towards, let's say, something like my move right sys method with a pair of parentheses that requires a floating point parameter of something like a value. And then I'm going to go with a pair of curly braces. Now, I'm going to use the add movement. Let's go with something like add movement input sys function, which requires two parameters. The first parameter is going to be my frx / my world direction, which is going to be something like get actor right vector this time. I'm going to go with right vector because this is like for the right and left side for my player. Then I'm going to go with the pair of parentheses to invoke the function. Excuse me, guys, invoke the function. Secondly, my scale is going to be my value, ending with a semicolon. Speaking of which, I think I gotta go to access mapping and like give my character access to like a few mapping tab stuff, because I did not actually set my access mapping. Okay, excuse me, guys. Now, once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and create another void method. This is gonna be something like, let's go with something like my character. Okay, there we go. My character is gonna be what should we call it? Be pointing towards, let's go with a floating point of values as parameter. So there we go. And then I go with the pair of curly braces. I'm gonna use the add controller yaw input. That's something new, so I gotta go with something like the add controller. So there we go. Okay, add controller yaw input. Basically what this actually does is I'm assuming this helps me rotate my character, like turn me around type stuff. This is going to be requiring a parameter of my value. Let's see what parameter does it require up here. Just a floating point value. Okay, so either I want to move positive, either I want to rotate towards the positive side or the negative side, ending with a semicolon. And then lastly, I got to go ahead and create another void function called, which is going to be from my character. Okay, which is going to be having a scope resolution operator of something like, what's it called? It's called lookup. So I'm going to go with something like lookup. This is if my player wants to look upwards or downwards, depending on positive or negative values. So I'm going to add a pair of parentheses that requires a floating point parameter of value with a pair of curly braces. Then I'm going to use the add controller. Okay, pitch input. Okay, I'm assuming positive pitch is me looking upwards and negative pitch is me looking downwards type stuff. Then I'm going to go with something like value, ending with a semicolon. Okay, yaw input meaning. Honestly, I'm assuming that the yaw input basically means me turning towards the left if I have a negative value and turning towards the right if I have a positive value type stuff. Because that is like to turn myself around. Okay, now once I'm done with that, then in the set up player input component, I gotta bind them. So this is my setup player component. Let's go ahead and bind them. So I'm gonna go with something like player input component. Let's go with something like component with a pointing operator. Here, guys, I think there's like a lot of background noises. Give me a sec, guys. Already mic testing, mic testing. There we go. I thought there were some background noises. That said, I'm gonna go with something like player input component, which is gonna have something like bind access with a parentheses that does require parameter. This is gonna be components. Let's go with components. There we go. And then I wanna bind my access to something like move forward first. Let's go with something like forward. And then let's go with something like this. So I wanna move this forward. So I'm gonna go with something like this. So there we go. Okay, after I'm done with this, basically what this means, this is the current object that I'm actually looking at, and like my character is the object. Bind access, AXIS, I think that's correct. After this, I'm going to go with something like the memory address or the address operator of my characters and move forwards this function. I see, so I'm going to go with something like the memory address for my, let's go with my character. So there we go, with a scope resolution operator of something like move forward. Let's go with something like move forward. So, okay. And then I go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Maybe I fixed my typo. Let's go with something like character. There we go. Okay, perfect. My character. Is this part correct? Did I mess something up? CHARACT. Guys, I think I messed up the spelling. ACTOR. There we go. What up, guys? ACTOR. Did I spell this part wrong? Okay, hiding Brad, I appreciate you joining the stream. Great job, bro. I just appreciate you. That honestly means the world to me, guys. Okay, let's go with something like Control C. Where was that? Okay, let me go ahead and copy that. Let me check if my spelling is correct. It was my spelling somehow, guys. How did I manage to mess up the spelling even after like seeing that I actually messed it up? That's it. Next time, I'm gonna go with another player input component. So I'm gonna go with player input component. Let's go with component, which is going to be pointing towards bind access. Let's go with something like bind access with a parentheses that this time is going to be something like move right, and then I'm going to go with something like this, and then let's go with something like a address of operator of my character. So I'm going to go with something like character with a scope resolution operator of something like move right, ending with a semicolon. Next up, for my third player component, I'm going to go with something like player input component. So let's go with component, which is going to be pointing towards my bind access. Let's go with something like bind access with a parentheses. Now, inside this, I'm going to go ahead and let's go with something like churn and lookup. So let's go ahead and add a churn. And then I want to turn this. This is basically representing my current object that I'm talking about, which in this case is going to be my character object. And then I'm going to go with something like the address of operator of something like let's say something like character. So I'm going to go with something like character with a scope resolution operator of something like churn. So let's go with something like churn, ending with a semicolon. Once I'm done with that, lastly, I'm going to go ahead and add a final player input component. So I'm going to go with something like player input components. Okay, with a pointer towards something like a bind access with a parentheses of something like my lookup. Let's go with something like lookup. So there we go. And guys, I feel there's a lot of background noises. Let me know if you guys can like hear any background noises. Okay, let's go with something like this. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to go with the address of operator of my character. Okay, so I'm going to go with my character of lookup. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to end this with a semicolon. And that pretty much wraps this up for adding these things. So basically what I did here was in my header files, I created my few move functions, move and turn functions. Let's go with something like move, turn, and rotate. Let's go with something like move, turn, and rotate. Okay, move, turn, and rotate functions. Then in my C++ class, I created a few. I set my camera boom to a create default sub object. So I set this to be a default sub object. Okay, and then I pointed my pointer towards attaching a root component, adding a target arm length, and B use control rotation to be true. I see. Okay, only third player components. Why have you not given the direction? It's simply commands only. It's simply commands only turn. Honestly, because I am like new to the character class, so I'm trying to like get this part to work with like just the basics and all that stuff. That's it. Let's hit control. Control has to save the code. Go with control A, control C. Copy that. Now let's get Sensei/ChatGPT up here. Maybe I go ahead and extend this from here. So there we go. Let's extend it from down here as well. Now, let's say something like, let's go ahead and delete this part real quick. Let's paste it, go with Shift Enter and say something like, so let's say I added this in my .cpp file. I think I'm starting to get a better understanding on how it works. I just need to learn the syntaxes and function names. So what should we do next, question mark? And guys, give me a second again. I think there's like a lot of background noises in the background going on, in case you guys couldn't hear any of those. Okay, let me just mute. Okay, and then go to my be right back. Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go all the way back here. Okay, let's see. Now, stop. I see the progress, but I also see a classic mistake that will haunt you in Unreal. Look at this line. Player input component. Bind axis, move forward. FOR. Oh, the spelling, the typo, guys. I always have typos. Maybe I gotta actually fix my typos. I feel like these typos. Okay, FOR. WARD. There we go. I gotta work on my typos because typos look awful, but they're actually pretty good. Background noises are neglectable. Honestly, could you guys like hear any of that stuff? Because I like to like keep my background noise kind of clear, all that stuff. That's it. So let's go all the way up here. There we go. Okay, now move forward. You misspelled it. The engine does not care about your confidence. Okay, let's scroll all the way up. That was too small. There we go. It will refuse to call your function. You will sit there and wonder why nothing moves. Fix this immediately. Okay. Why this happens? Bind axis matches exact string in project settings input axis mapping. Even a tiny typo breaks everything. Unreal will silently fail. No compiler error. Just character refuses to move pane. What you did right, you declared functions for movement, and look, you defined them correctly. You used add movement input and add control yaw input, pitch input correctly. You bound the axis and set up player input component. You're learning the engine's name and patterns. Exactly what I want. Next step, your mission, fix the typo. Make sure the project settings input axis mapping actually exists for move forward, move right, turn up, look up. Compile, hit play, see your character move with WASD/arrow keys. I see. Okay, so this is pretty much it. I gotta try running it, but before I run it, okay, you're funny. Guys, honestly, I feel that does sound kind of cool. Okay, now let me go ahead and get my Unreal Engine up here. Before I do compile the code, there's something really important, guys. I gotta go to my project settings and then scroll all the way down here till my input. Now, I'm gonna add a few axis mappings. There we go. So, I'm gonna add a new axis mapping. Wait, let's go ahead and crash that real quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and add one. Now, for my axis mapping, I'm gonna set this to be W, and let's call this to something like move forward. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and add another one. What up, guys? Let's go ahead and hit the plus. This is going to be something like S. Okay, then I add another axis mapping. I'm going to call this something like move right. There we go. This is going to be something like A. Okay, hold up. Let me actually set this to be something like A. And that to be something like D. Okay, perfect. Now my S is going to be -1 and my D is going to be -1 as well. Okay, perfect. Now let's go to my untitled stuff here. Let's exit that, save my code in my .c++ file, save my code in my header files. Now let's open Unreal Engine. If audit Control Alt F11, but before I do that, I just realized I created an object. Let's go to C/C++ classes right here. Let's go ahead and drag my character up here real quick because I forgot to drag my character, guys. Okay, now once I'm done with that, I want to go ahead and add a static mesh that represents it so I can like actually add something to it. So I'm gonna go with the plus up here. Let's go with something like static. There we go, static mesh. So let's add a static mesh here. So I'm gonna go ahead and call my mesh. Okay, I did not actually load my mesh in my content drawer, so let me do that real quick. I'm going to drag my entire FBX file in my contents section. Let's go to something like content. So there we go. Okay, let's import. These are all my FBX files type stuff. Okay, perfect. Now let me go ahead and open my chat here again. And guys, yeah, I did like create these meshes like really quick in Blender type stuff, so they're not properly animated type stuff. Although I am not that good in animating like in general. Okay, now let's go ahead and change this with one of my meshes. What up, guys? Let's go back to normal. Whoops, guys, did I mess something up? Okay, I'm glad Control Z exists. Okay, where's my character? Let's go to my character. There we go, my character. I'm gonna go ahead and set my static mesh to be, let's say, equal to the... What up, guys? That's not my static mesh. There's skeleton mesh. Let's go ahead and set this to be something. Okay, wait, hold up, guys. Let me go ahead and maybe delete my character. I have static mesh here. Okay, let's scroll. There we go. Okay, perfect. Got my character up here. Now, this is my character. Let's go ahead and get my outliner a bit lower. Okay, let's see if I can move it around. So, there we go. Now, if I did Control Alt F11 to compile my code, let's patch it, or let's wait for it to patch type stuff. Maybe it's some old file that's patching. Okay, once it's done patching, I have my camera here. That's a good thing. Let's go ahead and run the code real quick. Moment of truth. Can I turn it around? Okay, I move, but my static character does not move. Is he set to movable? E actually jumps? I never knew I could jump with E. How do I get down, guys? Maybe I go with E like this. Whoops, W. There we go. My character is static. Let's hit something like escape real quick. I see my camera here, but it's not right above my player. Do I need to actually create a blueprint class? Okay, wait, let me go all the way here. Let's check if he is movable. Okay, so I might go to my character's instance here. I have a capsule. Okay. A capsule component. How to check if he's movable? Maybe let's go to something like a mesh up here. Because I feel the code is correct. I have my camera up here, guys. How do you extend the size? There we go. I have follow camera as well. So I have a follow camera. And I have a character movement. So I see everything looks correct, honestly. Is something wrong? Maybe let's get something slash ChatGPT here. There we go. Okay, let me see something like, let's say, I loaded one of my blueprints. Let's say I loaded one of my actually meshes from Blender to my character. Okay, but when I run the code, my character does not move, but my default camera does. And also, when I compiled my code, I could see my camera, and I could see my camera's screen in the bottom left of my window. But when I ran the code, it disappeared. Okay, I see. Okay, listen very carefully, people, because What you're describing is a classic beginner trap in Unreal C++. You didn't break C++ logic, you broke the character hierarchy and camera possession. Let me break it down. Why your character doesn't move, you said your default camera moves, but the camera doesn't. This happens when the pawn is too possessed by a player controller. Unreal spawns the pawn, but no controller tells it to move. Movement function works only if controller exists. The mesh is not the actual root component, or capsule is empty. If you replace the character skeletal mesh in a way that broke the capsule collision, Unreal may think the character can't move. Input axis name does not match. Move forward, I think it's matched. We already caught up. Why your camera disappears when your camera is in the viewport, but it disappears when running. The camera component is attached correctly, but your pawn is not possessed. Unveil the player controller's view target. If the controller doesn't possess the pawn, the camera is an active. Default editor can preview the pawn, but play mode is controlled by the controller. Hence, nothing shows the file in order no rush. Make sure the pawn is set to auto possess. Okay. In C++ controller, auto possess, auto possess player 0. I want to try doing this real quick. Okay, so let's go to my excuse me, guys. Okay, now let's go to my controller up here. I'm gonna go ahead and possess my pawn. So I'm assuming I should like actually paste this part here where it possesses. I just want to see if it works first. Okay, let's get some /ChatGPT up here. Test in PIE plane editor. If nothing still moves, select the pawn in the outline world. Okay. Okay, so I just gotta possess my pawn. Let's hit Control S to save the code. Open my Unreal Engine here. Now let's get this all the way back here. There we go. Now if I hit Control Alt F11 to patch my file, let's see what happens. So let's go ahead and patch this real quick. Okay, once it's done patching, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and exit this, run the program. Let's see what happens. So I go ahead and see my character there. Okay, I can still tell it wouldn't work. Okay, why is it not actually working? I can go to my world settings, because back when I did it with the actor class, it like worked really easily. How to check if it's possessed here? So in my game modes, I see this. Okay, game mode override. I see something like none. Should I go ahead and create like another mode? I see a base. Okay, let me actually ask that question real quick. So let's get some /ChatGPT up here real quick. There we go. Let's say something like, let's say I added that line of code to my constructor. Okay, but I have a question. Have you selected default pawn from game mode class? I did not create a game mode class. That's what I was going to ask, but I have a quick question. Okay, could it be because I did not create a game mode class question mark? Okay, let's see. While that's being said, let me go and just eat something because I am kind of starving. Yes and no, people, listen closely because this is subtle. Technically, a game mode is not required for movement to work if you're testing a PIE with auto-possessed player, but if you want your character to actually spawn at player start and be controlled automatically in the level, Unreal needs a game mode that defines the default pawn class. Here's the deal, without a game mode, you can manually drag your character into the level. Okay, auto-possessed player works. With the game mode C++ blueprint or set default classes, I see. Let me say something like, let's say, when I had a actor class, it was so easy to move, but why is pawn and character kinda hard to move, question mark? Okay, let's see. Because I feel like it shouldn't be that hard to do it in code. Like, it's the exact same thing, honestly. Actor class, basic A actor, no built-in movement, no collisions, no physics constraints by default. When you move it, set actor location or add actor local offset. Could it be because I didn't use these functions? I might actually use it. It moves instantly and directly. Easy because the engine doesn't care about collision controls or input. Problem, you're just teleporting in spaces. Unreal doesn't know if It's a player or a pawn. Pawn slash character. A pawn meant to be possessed by a controller can have AI or player inputs, can use add movement input. This requires a controller to exist. A character, your class, subclass of pawn with character movement component, handles walking, falling, jumping, crouching, collisions. Movement is not instant, it's physics based. You excuse me guys, you can't just teleport your character or it will ignore collisions or fall through floors. Why it feels hard, you need a controller for movement input, you need correct input binding, move forward, move right. Character movement component applies physics so movement is smooth and constrained. The skeletal mesh must be properly attached to the capsule root. I think I see, but then... Okay, next up, if you want your character to move like your old actor class, you cannot cheat. Fix input access binding. Make sure auto possess player is 0. Make sure mesh plus component plus move component are set up correctly. Optionally create a game mode handle possession. Okay, I think it's just the auto possess player. Let's check that real quick. So, for going to my auto possess player, can I type it somewhere here? Auto. Okay, I don't see auto possess player. Hold up, guys. I'm pretty sure I know where to go for the auto possess player. So I gotta go to my character, and then in my character, okay, maybe I wanna ask how to check the auto possess player. I thought I knew this part, guys. Like yesterday, I think I actually figured out just by stumbling over it. Let me say something like, where can I tell? Let's go with something like, where can I check if my auto possess player is set to player 0 question mark? Excuse me guys. Okay, listen carefully people, this is crucial and you can check auto possess player in 2 places. C++ and editor. In C++, your best friend for control. Okay, look at this line, auto possess. If this is exactly like this, Unreal will sign up. Okay, in the editor details panel, auto possess player, you see it drop down. Okay, let's check it in the editor. Guys, I don't know why did I open Blender real quick. There we go, let's exit Blender. Let's go to my details panel. Let's go to window, details. I have details here. Let's go ahead and get this part up. Let's type something like auto possess player. Do I see it somewhere? Auto possess player. Maybe I go with something like possess. There we go. It's set to disable. Let's set it to player 0. There we go. Now this should actually fix it. Okay, let's go ahead and hit something like Control Alt F11 to patch my code. Let's see what happens while it's being patched. Let me go ahead and get this all the way here. Live coding succeeded. Now let's go ahead and run the code. Let's see what happens. My position is changed. Okay, I do move. I don't know if you guys can tell, I am moving with my camera. How do I look up and down? I did not set inputs for that, guys, but it did work. Like, if you guys can't tell, I am actually moving with my camera. There we go. It was the auto possess. Okay, perfect. Alright guys, I was moving with my camera, but I couldn't turn up and down. Let me go a bit in front. There we go. I see a camera there. Okay, that's actually perfect. Let's go ahead and extend this. Guys, I feel it's so satisfying once it actually works after so long. Let's go synthase/ChatGPT up here. Click the details tab. I see. Okay, let me say something like let's say it works exclamation. Let's go with something like it works exclamation, but I can't turn up or rotate. Is it because I didn't set those for my axis mapping question mark? Okay, exactly. Honestly, I think I know how to do that part, so I'm gonna go ahead and open my Unreal Engine up here. Now, under my project settings, I'm gonna go to something like input. In my input, is it just me or usually stuff pops up when you click input? Oh, there. Bindings. Axis mapping. There we go. I wanna go ahead and create. Did I do this part correct? Forward, move forward. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like plus. Now I'm gonna create another axis mapping. This is gonna be for my turn up. Let's go with something like turn up. Make sure the spelling is correct. I want to turn up if I hit something like E. Whoops, let's go with something like E is going to be +1. And then let's go with something like C to be -1. Let's change that to -1. E +1, C -1. Okay, I could do that with my key controls too, but I feel this is kind of good. And then I want to go ahead and add another axis mapping called something like, what was the other one called? I forgot. Hold up, guys. Let's go ahead and exit this. Go here. Let's remove this part for now. I wouldn't need that. Okay, what was it called? So I have lookup and turn. So I have turn and lookup. Okay, guys, my turn up was wrong. Let's go here. So I gotta change this name to be something like look. Look, and the next one is gonna be turn up. So this is gonna be turn up. Turn up. There we go. To turn up, I'm gonna hit something like Z. Let's go with something like Z, and then I'm gonna go with something like X. Guys, these are just random buttons for the time being. -1. Okay, now let's go ahead and go to my actual map here. If I did Control Alt F11 to compile my code while I'm eating something, because I am kind of starving. Click spring arm component, tick use control rotation. Moment, shoot, guys. I can go backwards if I hit Z. Nothing happens. If I hit X, nothing happens. If I hit E, nothing happens. If I hit C, nothing happens. Although if I go left, that happens. Right happens. Back happens. Down happens. What happens if I exit out of the map? Just curious. Guys, is it just me or is it an infinite map? I guess we just fly. Nope, we get under our... Okay, I guess we just fall. Let's something escape. What up, guys? Where is my character? Let me go all the way up to my character. There we go. Guys, did I like mess something? I was just trying to see what happens if I fall off the map. Oh, there, nice. Okay, now let's get Sensei/ChatGPT up here. Let's see why. Add control your input and add control pitch input only respond to input accesses. If you haven't created maps to Unreal, feed your functions, result, camera stays frozen. What to do? Go to editor, project settings, input, under axis mapping, bind mouse X. I forgot to bind them. Okay, wait, I think I binded them here, right? Bind. Okay, I did bind them up. Turn and look up. Let's get some Sensei/ChatGPT up here. Okay, bind Y for -1 for look up. Okay, optional, bind gameplay right Y. People task, set up, turn and look up, access mapping, compile. Okay, I think I did that. Okay, optional, bind gameplay right X. Is there something called left X and right X? Okay, maybe I go ahead and go here. Let's get this all the way up here. Let's go with Control-Shift-S to copy this. Guys, I know this is kind of risky to do right now because I might run out of chat time if I like copy and send this message. That said, I think I actually want to send the message here. So there we go. Let's scroll all the way down here. Maybe this is going to be kind of risky, guys, because I'm going to run out of my chat because I don't have like ChatGPT plus type stuff. Okay, I think you guys like saw me dragging the message and dropping it here. Apparently it didn't work. I think that's a sign. Okay, I guess I don't send it. Okay, let's go all the way here. Let's say something like, let's say I have 4 axis mappings. Mappings, one for move forward and move right, which works, and the second and third is turn. Let's go with something like turn and look up. Now for my turn, I set my E to be +1 and my C to be a -1 to be -1, and for my lookup, I set my, let's say something like Z to be +1 and my X to be -1. But I can still just move around, but not actually look up, down, or turn to the left or right. Okay, howdy Brian, I appreciate you joining the stream. That said, now I exactly see what you did, people, and why your camera is still stubborn. You're thinking keyboard keys should control turn look up like WSD. This is not how Unreal Input Access works for camera rotation. I see. Why this doesn't work? Turn/look up accesses are normally fed by mouse or gamepad analog sticks. Mouse X turn, mouse Y look. Okay. Game right, turn/look up keyboard keys can technically work, but Unreal expects continuous float input between -1 and 0. Pressing a key, Unreal feeds +1 or -1 per frame. This works, but it's awkward for camera control. Fix a mouse's x-axis. What even is mouse's x-axis? Okay, mouse x-axis. Okay, and then bind stuff. Do not try to use keys. Let me say something like, let's say, what is a mouse X question mark? Because mouse just has 3 buttons, left, middle, and right. No, people, listen closely. Mouse X and mouse Y are not buttons. They're axes. Unreal tracks movement of the mouse, not ticks. Mouse X, horizontal movement, left/right. Mouse Y, okay, movement of the mouse. Every time you move the mouse, Unreal reports a float value. Moving right, positive mouse. Okay, camera turns right. Moving left, negative mouse. Camera turns left. Moving up, negative mouse. If scale equals to -1, camera looks up. Moving down, positive mouse Y. Camera looks down. Key point, you don't bind keys like ECZX for looking around, okay? Mouse X, axis mapping mouse X. What even is mouse X? How do I... Wait, what up guys? Maybe I think I might know it. Let's go all the way here. Instead of my keyboard, I'm gonna go ahead and check something. That is my mouse right now. Okay, and then this is going to be something like left mouse. Let's go with mouse X. So maybe something like mouse X. There we go. So I see mouse X, and let's go with something like a mouse Y. Okay, so I have a mouse Y here. I see. Okay, and then look up and down. It's movement of mouse. Oh, I see. I never knew something like this existed. I'm assuming I gotta add mouse X and Y here as well. Let's go with something like mouse X and mouse Y. Okay, perfect. Now let's go ahead and hit Control Alt F11 to patch my code real quick. Let's see what happens once I'm done patching the code. Okay, okay, so it says something like finish. Let's go ahead and exit this part real quick. Now, if I were to go ahead and run the code, let's see what happens. Moment of truth, guys. Can I move? Okay, I can move around, but I can't look up, down, left, or right. Like, I can move, but then... Should I click X and turn up, or like Y and look? What does mouse X and Y even mean? Like, I did set this part, so I could probably like go all the way up here, maybe get my Unreal Engine's project settings. I want to send this part to ChatGPT, but I feel like it's gonna be kind of awful. Maybe. What up, guys? I think there's some background noise. Already mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let's go to my gameplay screen. There we go. Alright, now let's see. So apparently I have something like mouse XY, and I have a mouse XY here as well. But let me actually get ChatGPT here real quick. Let's say something like So I set my turn and okay, I set my turn and look up to be set to mouse X and mouse Y for both of them, but I still can't turn around or move to the left or right. Okay, check method names. Honestly, I think it's correct though. So this is look and there's turn up. So I have a... Wait, did I actually go with look and turn up? Look and turn. Oh, I see. This is going to be look up and turn. Okay, guys, is this like usually the mistakes? There we go. This should actually work. Mouse X means move your mouse horizontally. Oh, Y for vertically. That does make sense. How can you have been doing this for 96 days and gotten nowhere? This is proof AI is not useful for learning if you just copy what it says. Guys, I've been like learning Unreal Engine for like just 5 days now. I've been learning C++ for like 96 days type stuff because I have been doing like SDL3 and all that stuff. I started my Unreal Engine like just a few days ago. It's been like 5 days. Okay, excuse me guys, maybe let me just go ahead and eat something. Use Claude for coding. I feel it was correct. For the bad manners, guys. That's it. I feel like it was kind of correct. I just made a silly mistake. I had like a wrong word. Let's see. There we go. Now I can move around. So I can turn. There we go. Oops. I gotta have better control. Let's move around. Let's turn. Okay, I cannot move to the left or right. Hold up. Okay. How do you turn to the left and right now? I can just go up and down, not left and right. Hold up, guys. Let's exit this. Then switch to Unreal Engine. SmartPy SFML. I see. Okay, that's it. It does work. Hold up. I just had like a typo. Let me say something like, don't say, a bad exclamation. I set the wrong name for my axis mapping. I set it to be turn around and look instead of look up and turn. Okay, let's see. I knew something was fishy type stuff. That's it. I want to open my axis mapping again. I think there's something kind of wrong here. Mouse X, mouse Y. Okay, clicking those always get me one place. So I move right, move left. For my turn, mouse X, mouse Y. I want to change this to something like mouse. Okay, so X, Y, 2D axis. Okay, right, left. Okay, for turn, I want to do something for turn. You gotta add each mouse axis different axis mapping. That's why you can only rotate at one axis. You gotta add each mouse axis as different axis mapping. I think these are like 2 different axis mapping type stuff. You added X and Y are the same mapping. Wait, did I add X and Y in the same mapping? Should I like add X here then go with plus and create another X? I mean another Y? Okay, I have it at different axis mapping. Okay, wait, let me say that to Sensei/ChatGPT real quick. Let's say something like, Sensei, I just move in one, like move right and move left. Like move, wait, move right and move left. I think so, WSAD. I did the same thing, X, Y, X, Y. They gotta be different. Oh, I see. Okay, since they gotta be different, I think I could go ahead and set this to be, maybe mouse. So in my mouse, thumb mouse, left mouse button. Okay, and this is going to be right mouse button. Let's go with something like right mouse button. Okay, I think this should work. For look up, use both mouse X. Oh, okay, actually, I think I see what you guys mean. Let's change this to be mouse X. I'm gonna go with something like mouse X. Change these to be mouse Y. Mouse Y. I mean, wouldn't that make it kind of awkward to actually play this part up? But I want to see if it works. So let's hit Control Alt F11 to compile the code. Oops, there we go. Okay, so it's compiling. While it's compiling, might as well eat some oats. Okay, now I can move up and down. I can move. What up, guys? I think I was turning. How am I even turning? Nope. Go forward. Oh, I see forward and backwards. Forward, backwards to turn around. I gotta fix that real quick in that case. So in my project settings, for my look up, I'm gonna go with mouse Y. Okay, let's change that to mouse Y as well. Guys, I don't know what's wrong with my throat. Mouse Y. And that's going to be something like mouse X. Okay. And let's change that to be mouse X as well. Alright, now I've added something like Control Alt F11. Let's see what happens. No need for duplicate X and Y. 1X, 1Y. Oh, I could actually do that as well. Hiding J0, I appreciate you joining the stream. That's it. Let me run the code and then I'm going to like remove an X and Y. Whoops. Let's see. Up and down works. Left and right works. What if I want to move forward? There we go. Whoops, I want to move backwards, I guess. I want to turn. I want to look the sky. Whoops, I want to look the sky. There we go. Okay, it works. I won't say it doesn't work. It actually works type stuff. Let's go ahead and hit something like escape. Go to my project settings. Just one works. Let's just add one. There we go. So look up. I got it. No, I think I need two for looking down as well. Let's go with something like Control Z, Control Z. But I will be changing this to be -1, that to be +1, this to be -1, that to be +1. Did you forget me, bro? Now with Unreal Engine 5. Honest, remember you, J0. It's been a while. How are you doing? That's it, guys. I think something is really wrong. Probably because I was eating like frozen oats or something. Or it's probably like way too cold right now. Made this a while ago. Well, maybe probably because I need some water. And also, speaking of which, I feel the character class was much easier to move compared to my other classes. It becomes negative depending on the direction you move automatically. Honestly, might actually test that. Let's hit Control Alt F11 real quick. There we go. Okay, mix black pepper with honey for your throat, bro. Honestly, that does make sense. I do like black pepper a lot though. That's it. Let's see. Let's look down, up. Oh, it actually does. Left, right. Okay, this is like a first person, guys. I don't understand. Like, do you guys prefer playing in first person? Okay, I am kind of enjoying just this part. Okay, it is kind of hard to control, but not as hard. Let's do something like escape. Now, once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and do something. Maybe I want to go ahead and change my camera's position. So I have target arm. Excuse me, guys. Maybe I go with Control S real quick. Let's get some /chat GPT up here. Let's say something like... Okay, let's say something like Sensei. It works now, exclamation. But I'm in first person. Is there a way to... Actually, not first person. I'm in face person perspective. Face person perspective. Okay. Is there a way to go third person, question mark? Honestly, I already know that there is a way to go to third person. I'm simply asking. Because all I gotta do is just get the camera up. I had to like change it, but there's like another function I'm assuming, or another keyword. Okay, spring arm length to camera to 300, change this to 400, and then camera boom socket offset. Okay, add it slightly up. I might actually just copy this part to check if it works. Okay. And then make sure follow camera is attached to the camera. Okay, it is attached to the camera. And then that's third person. Okay, let's actually check it out if it works. So now, I have a further back camera and then a camera boom offset vector. Okay, so I turn the position slightly sideways. Let's hit Control S to save the code. Get my Unreal Engine here. Let's hit something like Control Alt. Good night, happy coding. Honestly, I appreciate you sticking to the stream, Kiva. I'll get you next stream. Where are you from? Honestly, I used to like answer much, but these days I did like avoid saying that for like safety reasons type stuff. That's it. Let's go ahead and patch my code real quick. Can you try Roblox coding? I used to maybe do that. I did that like for a week or something, but then later I stopped because I felt like it. I won't say it didn't require coding. Like we needed Lua and everything. Or back when I used to like work with like Roblox coding and everything, I only used to be a modeler, so I used to like use Blender to make meshes and all that stuff. I lost all my skills in that stuff though, guys. Although, I mean, it is kind of fun. Eventually, in future, I might actually try Roblox coding too. Okay, maybe I want to change 300 to be -300. So he's like, or -400. Let's go with... Excuse me, guys. -400. Now, let's open Unreal Engine. Let's hit Control Alt F11. There we go. Let's try patching it up. Oh wait, hold up guys. If I just hit my my character here real quick, I can literally see the camera. Camera is there. I want to get the camera a bit higher. Well, maybe I go, this is x-axis, y-axis. I want to get the y-axis higher. -50. Let's hit Control S to save the code. Go with Control Alt F11. Isn't there like a faster way to patch my code up? Okay, let's get that here. Where's my camera at? Hold on, guys. Let me try finding my camera. There we go. My camera is right there. I want to get it like way higher. So let's change this to something like 150. Let's hit Control S to save the code, get my Unreal Engine here. Alright, I'm learning Lua. That actually sounds really cool. Good luck with learning Lua, hey you. And let me know how it actually goes. Can you accept my challenge, bro, in UE5, bro? Honestly, what challenge? Unreal is good as hell. You're on the correct path. I see that actually does sound kind of cool. Okay, so that is... I just want to let me just manually get my camera up in that case. Okay, so where's my camera? There we go, that's my camera. Let's remove the auto possess y-axis. Let's get it higher. Okay, and then I want to get it like even higher. Hold up guys, there we go. I mean, I like doing this stuff using coding and all that stuff, but I feel like this works as well. Anything that gets the work done. And now we turn it. It does not turn. What if I turn it from here? Does not turn. Okay, let's get the rotation off. That's my location. That's forward, back. I want to get it higher. And then I want to turn it. Doesn't the camera turn? Okay. Let's turn it from here. Okay, setting position, that blueprint is better since it's easy, I see. Okay, let's hit Control Alt F11 to save my code or to patch my code up real quick. I want to see how this part works. Let's go ahead and exit this. Now let's run the code. Okay, I can move around. There we go. I can move around. I can, whoops. Guys, it's so hard to control this part. I can turn around. Hold on, guys. Can I turn to the left? Okay, give me a sec, guys. Let me turn to the left. Why do I keep going down when I turn to the left? Alright, guys, this is way too hard to control. Increase the last value will go up. Honestly, I feel like my character is up type stuff, but I want to change my camera's position to be something else. Like my camera is filming the back. I want it to film the front. I mean, I want to change its position. Oh, I'm changing my character's position. Okay, it looks like my character has a tripod above his head, guys, but in the wrong direction. Hold on, let's go to my camera. There we go, that's my camera. Maybe my follow camera. There we go, this is my spring arm. Oops. Not that. Let's go. Oh wait, maybe yeah, I think it could be this. Let's go all the way here. There we go. And then I want to go ahead and rotate it. Oops, not that way. Maybe this way. Nope, not that way as well. Guys, now this looks like an actual tripod. It's kind of hilarious in a way. Maybe location. Okay, I see a scale as well. What is camera boom? Okay, maybe now I'm going to go with my mesh. I want my mesh to rotate. There. Alright guys, I don't see a point for my mesh to rotate. It's always the same. Like, it looks the same from the back and the front. So I'm just going to hit Control Alt F11 now. Okay, now I can actually see my player moving. That's why it looks very camera, looking out camera. The spring arm component is indented to look at the inside of the, look at the character. I see that actually does make sense. I was trying to like figure out how to fix that part out. But now that I see it, here we go. My player moves around. Let's turn. Hold up guys, let me go ahead and get my camera's distance a bit far. Let's go with something like follow camera. I want to change something. Let me turn, find my player. There. Maybe I go all the way in front. There we go. Okay, now I want to get my distance a bit further. So let's change my location to be back, even back there. Okay, whoops, that's way too far. I mean, I think that's good. I think that's good. Let's hit Control Alt F11 real quick. Okay, now let's go ahead and wait for it to patch. Once it's done patching, I'm going to go ahead and exit this and run the code. This should be good. There we go. Now my player can move. Wait, I wanted to move backwards. There we go. Okay, perfect. I wish I could like at least jump or something so my player can move around. I can look in other directions. That's actually pretty good for key controls. Set spring arm length for distance. I see that actually does sound. I should actually try that. Okay, that's it. Let's go and exit this. And guys, I might actually blow my nose real quick. Give me a sec because I feel like my nose is kind of congested because of the hot headphones. Okay, give me a sec, guys. Let me actually mute myself real quick and I'll be right back. Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, let's go to my gameplay screen. There we go. And guys, I actually want to use a restroom as well. Give me another second. I'll be right back again. I actually forgot to use a restroom. Already mic testing, mic testing. Guys, I feel like I was gone for like a long time. There we go. Okay, perfect. Can you guys hear me? Alright, now where was I actually? I actually forgot. Okay, so firstly, I was done moving it. Now I just gotta like look at the code and see, actually just read and try to understand the code type itself. But before that, I want to see what's the next thing that I actually need to do. Let me say something like, say, I see ... It works as well! Exclamation. That said, I will be practicing this part. Let's go with something like practicing this part so I understand it. And also, what do you think that I should learn for the next stream? I honestly do this like off stream, but sometimes like yesterday I was like busy off stream, so I couldn't like do it off stream type stuff. Yes, people, the movement camera in third person view is huge progress. Now you need to ingest this because sloppy understanding here will make the next steps a nightmare. For the next step, I would have you focus on things like building the things that build directly on what you just learned. Your character starts feeling alive, has a roadmap I suggest. Here's a roadmap I suggest. Jumping and gravity, this would be fun. Add jumping input to the test characters as physics. Learn a character jump, stop jumping, and how character movement. Okay, all this actually seems kind of fun. That's it. Now to work and like practice with this code type stuff. Let's see. Okay, before that, let me just check if everything's going good. So there we go. Okay, perfect. Let me go ahead and extend that. Okay, because sometimes like when I pause my stream and like reopen OBS, something is like always wrong with my setup and all that stuff. That's it. Let's see. So I'm gonna go to my header files, but before I go ahead and like delete all this stuff, I want to go ahead and actually have a reference that I can actually write on. So I might actually create another class. I'm gonna open my Unreal here. Let's go with something like maybe tools, and then create new plus plus class. I want to create a character class. Now I will be calling this something like my character 2. This is going to be my second character class. Let's go ahead and create it, waiting for it to add to my project. Okay, let's see. Okay, just waiting for it to add to my project. Now once it's done adding, I'm gonna go all the way here. Let's reload this. Now I have my character 2, the C++ file, and my header files. Now let me write how much I actually remember from my memory type stuff. So I do remember that I gotta go ahead and include something to begin with. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and include my game framework. Let's go with something like framework slash, let's say, camera component. Okay, I think this was called the spring arm component. So it's the spring arm component. There we go. So I'm gonna go with something like spring arm component. Okay, .h, which is my string arm components, is header files. And then I go ahead and include, let's say, something like my game framework. Actually, not game framework. I think it's something like camera component slash camera. Oh, it's camera slash camera components. So I'm gonna go with something like camera slash camera component dot header files. Now these are the two libraries that I would need. They both go above my generated header file, and then I have a generate body here. Okay, now what's the next thing that I gotta do? I'm assuming firstly, inside of my protected data member, inside my header files, I'm gonna be creating 4 methods. The first method is gonna be a void method called something like a move right. Let's go with something like move right. Actually, move forward. This is the name that my access mapping has, with a pair of parentheses that requires a parameter of a floating point value. Then I go with a pair of curly braces. Actually, I won't go with curly braces. I'll just end it with a semicolon. I'll add what I need to inside of my C++ file. Then I'm going to go with something like move. Let's go with something like move right. Let's go with move right, which does require floating point parameter of value as well. Okay, so there we go. Ending with a semicolon. Now, the second and third new methods, I'm going to go with something like a churn. So I have a churn method, which requires a floating point parameter of value as well, ending with a semicolon. Then I go with something like a void method called something like lookup. So I'm going to go with something like lookup, with a pair of parentheses that does require a floating point parameter of value as well. Now, I'm not just going to add like blind functions. I'm going to add a comment that says something like, I don't know, maybe move, turn and rotate. Turn and rotate. Methods. Okay, so move, turn, and rotate methods. I think I want to like title case this because it looks kind of weird if it's like lowercase. There we go. Yeah, I might not add methods here. Once I'm done with this, I gotta go ahead and do something else. I forgot what else. So I gotta create 2 U properties. The first U property is gonna be for my camera boom. The second is gonna be for my follow camera, which I think is my spring arm, right? Okay, so let's create 2 U properties. So I'm gonna add a comment that says something like boom camera. Okay, or camera boom, I think. Let's go with something like camera boom. Now I'm gonna do something. Let's go with something like U property with a pair of parentheses that tells this is going to be visible anywhere. Okay, so this will be visible anywhere, and then I want to have another parameter of, was it something like blueprint read only? There we go. So I need to add something like a blueprint read only. Make sure my spellings are correct, and then I need to add a category. So I'm going to go with category, which is going to be equal to camera. This is going to be the name that's set in my outliner, ending with a semicolon. Then I go ahead and set a variable, or like I use a uCamera component and set it to a pointer of my camera boom. So let's go with the uCamera component, okay, which is going to be a pointer for my camera boom here. Okay, ending with a semicolon. Now once I'm done with that, I'm going to go with another U property. Let's go with U property, okay, which says it's going to be visible anywhere. Okay, and then I'm going to go with something like blueprint only. Let's go with blueprint read only. Okay, perfect. Lastly, for my category, I'm going to go ahead and set that to be equal to something like follow camera, because this is what I'm actually going to be calling it. Okay, then I go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and create a U. Is it spring arm component? So I have a U. Okay, this should have been spring arm component. This should have been camera component. And both categories are going to be for my camera. So I messed up there. So this is going to be camera as well. And this is not going to be U camera component. This is going to be a U spring arm component. There we go. And this is going to be a U camera component. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to be setting this equal to something like a follow camera as this pointer, ending with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done with this, I'm going to go all the way to my C++ file. And in my C++ constructor, I got to do a bunch of things. So under my primary actor take.beacon_take, I'm going to do something. Let's go ahead and set my camera booms as pointer to be, let's say, equal to was it something like set sub object or create default sub object? I think it was the create. What up, guys? I didn't really chat at all. GPT slop guy. Honestly, guys, I feel like it does work. So as long as it works, that's it. Why don't you use Python? Honestly, eventually I was planning to use Python type stuff because I wouldn't need that for my AI logic and all that stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and do something like create default sub object. Let's go with something like sub objects function, which requires actually not function template. I'm going to add a pair of ankle braces that requires a U spring arm component. Let's go with spring arm component. Okay, which is going to be having a text that is going to be the exact same text that I have in my on Rails folder. Wait, is it like that? I forgot this part. So it's called camera boom. So it should be called. It should be named the exact same thing as my component here. There we go. I'll go with something like camera boom. Let's go with camera boom. Okay, perfect. Then I go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and set my camera boom to be pointing towards. Let's see. I want it to be pointing towards a camera component. Was it like that? So wait, I got to go ahead and set up an attachment of my root component, then a target arm length, then socket offset. Okay, so I gotta firstly set up my attachment root component. So let's try that. So I'm gonna go all the way here. Let's go with something like setup attachment component. Okay, with a pair of parentheses, which is gonna be something component. There we go, component. Okay, which is gonna be something like my root component. Okay, ending with a semicolon. Now here's the thing, set up attachmentcomponent. Guys, I think I spelled setup attachment component correct. Setup attachment, not component. Okay guys, these function names are going to be a hassle to actually memorize type stuff. Once I'm done with that, I gotta go ahead and add camera boom target arm length. So I gotta point my pointer of camera boom towards my target arm length, which is going to be equal to -400. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like camera boom is gonna be pointing towards my, was it set arm length? Guys, these function names are so hard. Target arm length, so it's target arm length. I think it's not hard, it's just because I didn't have enough practice with them. Let's go with something like target arm length. There we go, which is going to be equal to -400 points f, which is -400. There we go. There we go. Okay, ending with a semicolon. Once I'm done with that, is there something else that I need? I need a camera boom socket offset. Offset at the end of spring arm. Use this of the relative offset of the attached component to ensure the line. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Socket offset, so I gotta go with camera boom socket offset. Okay, so let's go with something like camera boom is gonna be pointing towards my socket offset. Let's go with offset. There we go. My socket offset is going to be equal to, let's say, something like the f vector. Okay, and my f vector, wait, hold up, I think it's going to have a parameter of my f vector equal to f vector. My f vector has a parameter of 0, 150, 75. Okay, guys, this is actually kind of harder than I thought. I mean, I won't say it's hard, it's just kind of tricky. So 0.0, okay, 75.0 and 175.0, ending with a semicolon. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Zonape, is that your pronounce your name? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, maybe I'm gonna be working a lot off stream on this stuff, so I could actually be good at this by the start of next stream. And then I set my camera boom to BU spawn control rotation. I set that to true. BU spawn control rotation is going to be set to true. So I'm going to go with something like my camera boom is going to be pointing towards something like BU's camera. Okay, let's go with something like camera rotation. Okay, BU's camera rotation to be something like true, ending with a semicolon. BU spawn camera rotation. Let's go with something like pawn, because I will be, I think, pawn possessing type stuff. I don't know if that actually had any connection with this. So the B is going to be lowercase. Okay, BU spawn control rotation. Pawn control, not camera. Okay, I gotta like learn these function names. It's really, really overwhelming. What's your age? Honestly, I am 17. That's why I'm going to be turning 18 really, really soon, guys. My birthday is this January 5th. I might actually not have any special streams though for that day. It's just going to be a regular stream, guys. That's it. So I gotta go with follow camera, sub object, set attachment for follow camera, allow it to use rotation. Okay. Now I'm gonna go with something like follow camera is gonna be equal to the create default sub object. Let's go with something like sub object. Okay, with a pair of ankle braces, which is going to be having a parameter of a U camera component. Okay, hold up, guys, camera component. Okay, and then I'm going to add a pair of parentheses, go with something like text. I want to add something like a camera boom text. Maybe follow camera text. I think it's follow camera, guys. Let's go with something like follow camera, because this is from my camera component, ending with a semicolon. Then I go with something like follow camera. This pointer is going to be pointing towards my setup attachment. So let's go with setup attachment. Dang, bro, you're talented, guys. I feel like I'm far from talented type stuff. Like, I do need like a lot more practice with this content. Your dedication is far. That actually does make sense. I appreciate you. Zonin, is that pronunciation? That actually means the world to me, guys. Okay, so my follow camera attachment. Hold up, guys, let me maybe fix my typo. Let's go with something like follow camera. Okay, perfect. Now my follow camera's attachment is going to be having a parameter of my root component. Okay, ending with a semicolon. And then once I'm done with this, I want to go ahead and set my follow camera to be able to use spawn control rotation. So I'm going to go with something like B use spawn control rotation function. Actually, function boolean to be set to true, ending with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done with all this, because Python is used for scripting in terms of games, that actually makes sense. Eventually, I do want to use the type stuff. He did use put. Did I use put? Oh, I think you meant Python or something. I didn't actually start Python just yet. But I mean, I had like a Python for 100 series, but I used Python in like Pygame type stuff, not actually in like my C++ project. But since since Visual or since Unreal Engine 5 allows that, that is going to be pretty fun when I want to add AI logic type stuff. That's it. Now I got to go ahead and add a few methods. So add movement inputs, add movement input, add controller yaw input, add controller pitch input. And then I just got to bind their accesses. This shouldn't be that hard. So I think I could do this now on my own type stuff. So basically I'm trying to learn game dev too, and I'm learning Unreal Engine 5. Any tips for a beginner? I'm a complete beginner, so no coding skills. I feel you and me, Zone, and I started 5 days ago. That's it. If you do, like, if you're actually learning this using C++, I would kind of recommend you to actually know some kind of C++ basics, like what the arrow mark operator here does, just for in this case, and what a scope resolution operator is, what does this part mean type stuff and all that. If you are like a complete beginner in C++, I do have a roadmap, so you guys could like join my Discord server. I could like DM you the roadmap. One if you guys did like mention me there, I'm going to be DMing it to them like after the stream is over type stuff. Okay, now Python is best language for everything. not related to performance, and in Unreal Python is used for making custom editor tools in Python. Oh, I see. That actually does make sense. Although not related to performance, yeah, that does make sense. Python is like really good, but then it's very slow type stuff. So we use C++ for speed and Python just for the brains type stuff. That's let's see. So super begin play. Okay, so for my super begin play, I'm gonna have a void method. So this method is gonna be from my character. Let's go with something like a my character. Okay, 2. Okay, this is my character 2, and then I'm going to use the scope resolution operator to get my move forwards method with a parentheses. My move forwards method does require a floating point parameter. Did I spell forward correct? What up, guys? I think I spelled forward wrong. Move forward? Okay, I think I spelled it correct. FORWARD. There we go, which requires a floating point parameter of value. Okay, let me go to my header files and check if my forward is spelled correct. So FORWARD. Let's go ahead and copy this. Let's go ahead and paste that here. Okay, this is still kind of messed up. Maybe I go with the Oh, I think I know why. My bad, guys. This goes outside my begin play. It's a separate method of it. Actually, it's a separate function of its own. Then I go with the curly braces and add a function name here. Now, here's the thing. I forgot my function name. So I'm pretty sure it's add movement input. So I gotta add movement. Okay, so let's go ahead and use the add movement vector. Add movement input. Okay, so add movement input. Okay, which has a parentheses. I'm going to be requiring a parameter of my world direction, which in this case it's going to be my actor forward vector. So let's go with forward vector. Okay, hey, thoughts about Godot on developing a 2D survival? That actually sounds real quick. That actually sounds real cool. I mean, real cool. Good luck with that. Dan, is that how I pronounce your name? How are you doing? Wolzavon, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, I personally wouldn't suggest Python for anything which isn't a web-related service. It's best for those. It would work for other things too, but okay, really create a BIOS in Python or leave it. Just use it for making another interpreter language, and you will know why it's used for scripting. I see. What are you coding? Honestly, I am like learning the basics of SDL, of Unreal Engine 5. I really got confused with SDL. Guys, kind of used to saying SDL. That's it for the time being. I am trying to actually what up, guys? Let me open my Unreal Engine. There we go. I am trying to move my player here, so I have a mesh here of my PNG. I'm trying to move it using key controls. I set my camera there, which is here. So this is like a third person. I already wrote the code once, but I'm not used to the function names and all that. So I am looking at my previous codes as reference and trying to write it again. So I actually get used to typing the function name type stuff. So get actor forward vector function. Let's go with something like the get actor forward vectors function. Use Python just for abstract stuff like web automation and AI. Yeah, honestly, I was actually going to be using it for that. Like, eventually after my C++ years, I will be using Python just for my AI logic and my game type stuff. I personally use PY Site 6 and it's very good. Python isn't as bad as you think. Honestly, that actually does sound kind of cool. I did like have a Python for 100 days series, but then where I actually made a game that using Python only. I was done with that like about 102 days ago or stuff. That's it. That was like really fun. Although I feel like Python did get a bit like I wouldn't call it repetitive or boring, because it was really fun. Like if I want to ever like go back to like fun programming type stuff without like thinking much, I'll definitely use Python. But I actually like doing stuff that's a bit harder, so I went with C++ type stuff. Guys, that was like really hard to phrase. Okay, next I'm going to have my values as parameter here. Now, once I'm done with that, so you're making a game. Yeah, that's like an easy way to put it. Okay, so I have a values as parameter here. Okay, so I just have these two parameters, then I go ahead and end it with a semicolon. Okay, that actually works. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and create another void method. Let's go with something like void. Holy, what are the frames like? Terrible in UE. What did bro do? Honestly, guys, these frames is probably because I didn't have like I don't have a graphics card, because guys, the graphic card does cost like $200 or something. I am using the graphics card that's integrated inside of my MSI's motherboard type stuff. That's let's see. Now once I'm done with my void method there, I'm gonna go ahead and create another in my character 2. So this is my second character class. I mean my same character class, but I'm working on my second character. okay, which is going to be having a scope resolution operator of something like move right, with a parentheses that does have a floating point parameter of something like value. And then I go with the curly braces. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use the add a movement inputs function. Let's go with something like add movement input, okay, which does require parameter of my get actor right vector. Let's go with something like get actor right vector is this function, which is basically my world direction. And then I'm gonna go with something like value, ending my function with a semicolon. Yeah, I think I spelled right wrong. There we go. Okay, how do you do it every single day? Your stream pops up every day and your dedication is praiseworthy. Honestly, that does mean the world to me. I appreciate you, Blazy. I mean, I feel like there are a few days where I like do not feel like doing it at all, but I still like do it because like by the end of the day when I like sleep in my bed, I'm like, okay, even the day was starting, it was kind of good though. Okay, you don't need super good graphics card to render the sky in Unreal Engine, at least I hope. I see. Okay, G.script is more or less Python. Do try Godot. I will honestly. Many of you guys have been saying me to try like Godot and all that stuff. I want to try like Godot, Rust, and different languages as well. Then, if I did feel like I liked a specific language, that I'm currently hoping it is going to be C++. But if I like something else like Rust, Godot, or those other languages, I might actually stick to those. Stick to that. Next up, I'm going to go with something like my character 2. So this is my second character. So, okay, let's go with something like 2. I'm going to be doing something. Let's go ahead and move it to the... Actually, I'm going to go with something like turn. Now, my turns method requires a floating point parameter of value as well. Now, to turn around, I'm pretty sure I needed pitch. So, I'm going to go with the curly braces. I'm going to add movement. Let's go with something like add movement. Pitch input. Let's go with something like pitch input. So, pitch... there we go. Okay, perfect. Now, is it called pitch input? Guys, there are like so many function names. So add controller yaw input for turn. So it's yaw input for turn and pitch input for looking up and down. So I gotta go with something like add controller yaw input. Okay, this is for looking, this is for turning around. This requires, let's say, a floating point parameter of my value, ending with a semicolon. And then lastly, I'm going to add my fourth function. So I'm going to go with something like a void function, which is going to be, again, my second character. So I'm going to go with my second character with a scope resolution operator of something like look up with a pair of parentheses that has a floating point parameter of value. Then I go with a pair of curly braces. Now I'm going to go with something like add controller. Okay, let's say something like pitch input. Okay, which does require parameter of value, ending with a semicolon. Okay, if you use G.script under the hood, you're using C++ only as it translates to it at the time of building. That's why we can better performance. That's why, okay, we can better performance, and all heavy stuff is already handled by the engine. I see. That actually does sound kind of cool. So I go with add controller pitch input. There we go. Okay, now once I'm done with my 4 functions, under my setup player input component, I'm going to go ahead and bind my axis. So I'm going to go with something like player input component. Let's go with something like input component. Okay, then I'm going to go with the parentheses. Actually, not parentheses. I want to go ahead and add an arrow mark operator because it is like a pointer. So it is a pointer. I'm going to be going with something like bind axis. I want to bind my axis. So I'm firstly going to bind my move forwards as axis. Okay, I want to move this forward, this current object forward. And then I'm going to go with something like the address of operator of something like my actor 2. Let's go with my is it called actor? It's called character. My character 2. Okay, with a scope resolution operator of, let's say, something like I don't know, maybe okay, let me think. My move forwards is method. Let's go with something like move forwards is method. And this part is easy because I did this part like once or twice, so I know how to do this part. In the other hand, these are a bit tough because I just learned of these like I think an hour ago. Now I'm going to go with something like player input component. This is going to be my second component. Okay, which is going to be having a arrow mark operator of something like bind axis. Let's go with something like axis with a pair of parentheses of something like move right. Okay, and then RIGHT. I want to move this right, my current, my second character. Then I'm gonna go with the address of operator of something like a my character 2. Okay, with a scope resolution operator of the move rightsys method that is in my header files, ending with a semicolon. Thirdly, I'm gonna go with something like player input component. Okay, let's go with CMPONENT, which is going to be pointing towards, let's say, something like the bind axis. So I'm going to go ahead and bind my axis. This time, instead of move right, I'm going to go with something like turn. So I have a turn method. I want to turn this. And then I'm going to go with something like the address of operator of something like a my character. Okay, 2 with a scope resolution operator of something like turn function, ending with a semicolon. Lastly, hey, could you tell me how to program C++ instead of Blueprint, please? Because I'm trying to enhance myself from Blueprints to C++. That... Okay, wait, I was like, that actually sounds really, really fun, but I realized that, Charlotte, I feel like you're much better than me at this stuff. So, like, whatchamacallit? I feel like I don't think there's almost anything that I could tell you, because I would, like, recommend to you my C++ roadmap, but I feel like you honestly might be already much better. Like, did you need like a C+ roadmap? Let's go with component. Okay, where I'm going to be pointing towards, let's say something like the bind axis. Okay, and then I'm going to go with the parentheses. This time I'm going to go with something like lookup. Let's go with the lookup function, and then I want to look this up my current character, and then let's go with something like the memory address of my character 2. Okay, and then I'm gonna go with something like look up, and that's actually pretty much it. Let's end this with a semicolon. Now I'm gonna go ahead and exit this, hit Control S to save my code here, hit Control S to save my header files here as well. Whoops, let me go all the way up here. Yes, and where to learn it. Honestly, I feel like I also like just started learning this part, but I feel like I am like learning it using Sensei/ChatGPT. But before you actually start this, do you have like C++ experience? Because if you do have some kind of experience in C++ coding or something, it would be like much easier. If not, I can like actually give you the roadmap that I used to learn C++, because once we get our basics down, we do know what these operators and all that stuff mean, so we can like start linking the dots. This is horrific, bro. You should build up real fundamentals instead of outscoring to ChatGPT at this stage. Outscoring, honestly, I just like use ChatGPT/Sensei to like learn how to program type stuff, but then eventually once I get to know how to do stuff and everything, I do add my own logic and all that stuff. That makes it like really, really fun to do. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and remove my character class from here. Instead, I want to paste my second character class, so I'm gonna go to my project. There we go, let's go with my character 2. There, now I'm gonna just go ahead and get this a bit higher. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add a static mesh. Let's go to the plus button, go with something like static mesh. There we go. Okay, yes please. Honestly, I could like DM it to you after like my stream is done, because I am DMing it to like one other person as well. That's enough for my static mesh. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and add a position here. Actually, not position. Let's go ahead and add a mesh. This time I want to go with something like my mage. There we go. Let's go with something like mage, because I did honestly go with my boss PNG before, like my boss's mesh before. Now, once I'm done with that, I have a capsule component. That is correct. I have a camera as well. That is correct too. Okay, that should pretty much be it. Oh, I gotta change my position. What up, guys? Where's my camera? Can you guys like see my camera? Okay. I did not see my camera. There's a thing. Hold on, guys. Let me actually see my camera. So I see my static mesh, capsule component. Okay, I do not see my camera. Is there something different that I did here? Let's see. Camera component, mesh character. Okay, maybe. Let me just all the way go here. It's so hard to like control this stuff. There we go. Let's get a bit in front. Okay, perfect. Now that I'm in front, probably E to go up. Okay, and looking down, W to come down. Okay, so I think I might not add a camera component in that case, because I want to see if my movement works first. Okay, I'm pretty sure I have my movement set up here. Is there something else that I need to let me think? I'm pretty sure there was one more thing that I needed. There we go, player position. So I'm gonna go to my details section here. Let's type something like player possession. It's set to disabled. I'm gonna set it to something like 0. Okay, perfect. That is the thing that was making me feel kind of weird, guys. Now let's hit Control Alt F11 to patch my code real quick and let's see what happens. Okay, let's go ahead and patch it up. Ta-ta. Okay, result succeeded. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and exit this and run the code. Let's see what happens. Okay, this is good stuff. I can move around. Okay, I can turn. Wait, I can turn my. What up, guys? It is my actual mage moving. There we go. I just did not add my camera components. Okay, I mean, I don't think camera component is going to be that hard to add. So let's see. So I create a default. This is my camera component. Okay, so I have a camera component up here. Let's go to my class here. It's called camera. It's called camera. Camera boom, follow camera. Any typos here? Camera boom, follow camera. Position. Okay, root component. I feel my camera component is correct, but I don't see my camera. I mean, I could go ahead and add my camera component from like my blueprint as well, but I do want to add it from there. Okay, if I were to hit this. Oh wait, now man, guys, I see my camera. I don't know why I wasn't seeing it before. It's just probably a bug in like SDL or something. I mean, Unreal Engine. Let's run the code now. Okay, let's hit escape. I see my camera. All I gotta do is set my position and change my camera's position. Okay, there we go. I see my camera. Boom, guys. It was just an Unreal. Sometimes it takes like way too long for it to actually move type stuff. Okay, where's my camera? It's right there. Maybe I go here. How do you move? And then there we go. Okay, let's come a bit in front, a bit back. Maybe E to go up there. Now let's move my location. Nope. I want to move my follow arm. Let's move this. Let's go all the way back. I want to go even back. There we go. Now I want to go a bit higher. There. Okay, a bit more back perhaps. Whoops, not in front, guys. Hold up, let's go back, 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 back there. And then rotation. Nope. Hold up, guys. This way, there we go. That looks much better. Now maybe I want to come a bit in front. There. Okay, now if I did Control Alt F11 to patch my code up, let's see what happens. Hiding Surge Man, our Surge main, I appreciate you joining the stream. Let's go ahead and exit that. Let's run the code. There we go. I won't say it's bad, guys. Hold up, it's gonna get kind of hard to control this. There, so I can move. Guys, it's always so hard to like control stuff in like first-person perspective using mouse because I'm not more of a mouse. I mean, I am a mouse guy, but at the same time, I am like a keyboard guy too. There we go. Okay, so it does work type stuff. Okay, let's hit something like escape. That actually works. That's it. I might actually do some more practice off stream. But before that, let me say something like, it worked. Okay, let me say something like, I will be practicing this code more off stream. That said, I might actually end my stream right now. So before I do end the stream, is there anything that you want to say to the viewers? Question mark. Okay, let's see. Listen up, viewers. Today we witnessed some serious progress. Our pupil didn't just code, he made a character move, look around, and exist in the third person. That's not beginner luck. That's great focus and refusing to let the engine beat him. Remember, there's the difference between a master and a novice is that a master has failed more times than a novice has ever tried. I don't think this is Sensei's own words, guys. I've heard this in like the assassination classroom said by Koro Sensei. That's it. So whenever you're struggling with your own projects, keep pushing, fix the tiny mistakes, and eventually the engine will obey you. Now go practice, experiment, don't just code, understand what you're building. That's how you level up. People, end your stream like a boss. I'm giving you a virtual high five and a head pat because it did not make me blush. Okay, that's it. Let's go to my main camera. There we go. Okay, how doing a Harsh? I appreciate you joining the stream. Alright guys, that's it. That was pretty much it for the stream. I didn't want to stream for longer, but maybe I'm going to be practicing off stream types because I am kind of starving and I want to eat something as well. That said, if you guys did enjoy the stream, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, like, helps my algorithm, share, makes you smile, and subscribing is like a cherry on top. And guys, it felt really satisfying once I actually got my stuff to move, like my mesh to move. That's it. I did start multi-streaming on Twitch, Kick, YouTube. I will start multi-streaming on Instagram and TikTok as well if I did make the followers requirement. So if you guys do enjoy my content and haven't followed me there, make sure to follow me there. The link is going to be in the description. And also join the Discord server. That's where I usually give you guys my roadmap and all that stuff and talk to you guys in general as well. That said, I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or video. Peace.